Discover the life-changing journey of a poor boy with empty pockets, an incredible tale of unexpected resilience and undefeated spirit. They say that sometimes the brightest fires spring from the darkest depths. Meet Ethan, a 12-year-old boy growing up in the shadowed valleys of a small Appalachian town, wrestling with the heavy chains of poverty while carrying the heart of a lion. With his mother working night and day as a waitress, the long hours leave their tiny home filled with love, but lacking in the essentials. Ethan embodies a delightful mix of innocence and aspiration, a young dreamer seeking to rise above the harsh whispers behind his back. Every day at school, he walks the gauntlet of ridicule. "Hey, Ethan! Did you wash those clothes in the creek?" They'd taunt, and the laughter would pierce his heart like a thorn. But Ethan, though his pockets were empty, and his clothes threadbare, wore his smile as armor. He found small ways to earn, mowing lawns and crafting trinkets from bits of wood, living out the true American spirit, hard work and stubborn hope. One fateful afternoon, walking home from school, Ethan stumbled upon the old community park. Once a lively place filled with laughter and play, it was now a crumbling reminder of better days, overrun by weeds and shadows of forgotten joy. His heart ached at the sight. This park used to be a vibrant gathering place, a realm where dreams blossomed and friendships flourished. But now, it was silent, reflecting the bitterness of a town struggling to find hope. As Ethan gazed at the remnants of joy, inspiration struck. He could see it, a thriving park alive with laughter, families sharing picnics, children bouncing on swings. The community revived. "Mom," he exclaimed, rushing home with wild enthusiasm, "what if we fixed the park?" His mother, weary from her shifts yet always ready to embrace his dreams, smiled. She remembered the stories of days gone by, when the park was alive with spirit. Ethan couldn't do it alone though, so he enlisted the help of Mr. Thompson, the elderly neighbor whose stories wrapped the neighborhood in warmth. Together, they dreamed up plans, presenting their ideas to friends and neighbors, but the initial reaction was skepticism. It stung, hearing the townspeople voice their doubts. "It's too far gone," they said. "You want to succeed. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Ethan felt heavy beneath that weight of doubt, yet he pressed on. Slowly, his enthusiasm began to chip away at the wall of disbelief. One by one, neighbors joined him. Some brought rakes and shovels, others shared ideas about what the park could be. Just as things began to take shape, a violent storm swept through, ripping through the town. Trees toppled, debris scattered, and the very park they had dreamed of restoring was left in ruins. Ethan stood before the wreckage, heart pounding with despair. Had their work all been for nothing? Tears stung his eyes, but through the chaos, he felt the warmth of those who had stood beside him, their bond stronger than the storm. If they could come together, they could rebuild again, this time, not just a park, but a community reborn. Would his dreams rise from the ashes? Time would tell, but one thing was certain: hope never truly dies. Ethan stood there, legs trembling beneath him as he surveyed the wreckage. The park, once vibrant and full of life, now lay shattered, mirroring his own spirit. He clenched his fists, trying to hold back the surge of emotions that threatened to spill over. He wanted to scream, to shout against the sky, but instead, he took a deep breath, feeling the cool air fill his lungs. His heart pounded in rhythm with the storm's aftermath. Suddenly, he saw movement. Mrs. Garcia, an older woman from his neighborhood, was carefully picking up fallen branches. Ethan took a hesitant step forward, then another, until he was beside her. "Do you think we can still make it look nice again?" he asked, his voice small and uncertain. Mrs. Garcia looked up, her warm eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Of course, Ethan. It may take time, but we can work together. Just like in the old days." With that, she picked up a branch and tossed it aside, her spirit igniting a flicker of hope within him. More people appeared, drawn by the same pull to rebuild. One by one, Ethan's neighbors started picking up the pieces. The fervor spread like wildfire. He watched as Mr. Thompson rallied a small group of teenagers, who were often lost in their digital worlds. "Hey! Grab a shovel, you never know what you might find," he called out with a chuckle, his laughter mixing with the sounds of creaking wood and rustling leaves. As the sun emerged from behind the storm clouds, the assembled neighbors began to sweep back the layers of nature that had reclaimed the space. Laughter soon erupted, breaking the heavy silence of loss. They shared stories of childhood adventures in the park, moments when everything felt possible. Ethan felt buoyed by their energy, his own spirits lifting as he joined in the efforts, throwing himself wholeheartedly into the task at hand. "It'll take us all summer, but look!" exclaimed a girl Ethan recognized from school. "If we all keep working like this, it'll be amazing." For the first time that day, a smile broke through Ethan's worry. He could envision children racing toward the swings again, friends sharing ice cream, and families gathering for summer picnics. The glimmer of a future filled with laughter and connection reignited the fire in his heart. As the day wore on, they made visible progress. Under the sun's watchful gaze, they began to shape a new foundation. He could see it shining through the clouds: unity, determination, and love transforming desperation into something monumentally hopeful. But just as he was about to embrace this newfound sense of community, he spotted something in the shattered remnants of the park. A sign, partially buried beneath dirt and debris. With trembling fingers, he pulled it free. The words "Welcome to Harmony Park" flickered like a half-remembered dream. That name, Harmony. It resonated deep within him. Was the name a calling to bring back what this place truly meant? Ethan's mind raced, and for a moment, he pictured unveiling a grand plan, one that could tie together his dreams and this community's hope. Yet doubt whispered in his ear again. Could he truly honor the past while shaping the future? As he stood there, caught between possibility and fear, realization dawned on him. The true spirit of Harmony Park didn't just dwell in its name, it lay in every heart now beating as one. The journey was just beginning, but he needed to share this inspiration, this vision with them. He turned to the crowd, ready to share his newfound idea, but then froze, realizing that sometimes hope can be just as fragile as glass. Could his dreams take flight this time, or would they shatter once more? Ethan took a deep breath, heart racing with anticipation as he prepared to speak. Would this be the moment that could change everything for them all? Ethan's heart hammered against his ribcage as he scanned the faces around him. Initially, the idea of speaking up felt daunting, but the sense of connection filled him with a surge of courage he hadn't anticipated. "Everyone," he began, his voice faltering but gaining strength. "We can make this park a symbol. A place for all of us. Let us bring back harmony." The crowd quieted, curious glances exchanged. A few steps closer, their interest peaked. He focused on Mrs. Garcia, who nodded encouragingly, her face stoking the flame within him. "This can be our project," he continued, heart racing faster. "Imagine a park where every kid can play, where families can gather. We can do this together." Somewhere in the back, a voice called out, "What do you mean, Ethan? What do you need us to do?" It was Ryan, a kid from school whose laughter he often missed. Ethan swallowed hard. "Well, first, we need to clean up, but I think we can also add new swings and maybe even a little garden. I've always wanted to see flowers blooming here again." We could even host events, movie nights, or summer fairs. The ideas spilled from him, each one catching like wildfire, brightening the faces around him. Another voice chimed in. Anna and I can help with the garden. We have plants at home we can bring. Excited murmurs spread through the crowd, like ripples in water. With every nod of agreement, Ethan felt the burden on his heart lighten, hope washing over him like a gentle tide. If we all pitch in, from planting to painting, we could turn this park into something beautiful, a place of harmony, like it used to be. Yeah, someone shouted. Let us do it. Applause erupted, sending waves of energy throughout the group. Ethan felt his own spirit lift, the belief that together they could create magic within the wreckage. Yet, as the cheers faded, a practical concern loomed in his mind. Where would they get the supplies? Would the town support their vision? Each thought had the weight of a stone, threatening to drag him back into despair. Mrs. Garcia stepped forward, her voice filled with warmth. Ethan, when we want something enough, we find ways. Even if it means reaching out to the town or gathering donations, we won't stop trying. Her calming presence calmed the storm of doubt swirling in his chest. Just then, Mr. Thompson raised a hand to gather their attention once more. Everyone, this is just the beginning. Let us have a meeting tomorrow. We can list what we need, figure out how to fund this dream, and make it happen. Excitement rippled like electricity through the crowd. Ethan's heart soared. Yes. Let us meet at the school and bring everyone in our community. The more the better. As people began to disperse and the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden hue over the park, Ethan felt a current of hope flowing through him. They were a community, united by their shared past and joint aspirations for tomorrow. But a word whispered in his mind. What if some didn't want to join? Or worse, what if they tried and failed? The fear lingered at the edges, but he pushed it away, shoving it deep where it couldn't smother his momentum. He didn't just want to hope, he wanted to believe, and that belief could be the bridge to change. With the sun setting on a day filled with determination and camaraderie, Ethan headed home, the weight of possibility heavy on his shoulders. What would tomorrow bring? Would the community unite in this newfound purpose? As night began to blanket the sky, he could only wonder if he was ready to face their doubts and his own. The journey ahead was full of uncertainty, but maybe, just maybe, it might lead to something extraordinary. What would Ethan discover in the light of dawn? Would he find the strength in both the community's support and his own resolve? Ethan woke early, sunlight streaming through his bedroom window. The promise of a brand new day filled him with energy, buzzing like the hum of bees outside. He pulled on a clean shirt, his mind still racing with thoughts from last night. Could they really do this? Could they breathe life back into Harmony Park? He felt hopeful, but part of him still clung to that whisper of fear. As he arrived at school, the hallways buzzed with excitement. Kids were talking about the park meeting, their chatter mixing with laughter and shouts. Ethan's stomach fluttered nervously at the thought of presenting his ideas to a larger crowd. What if he stumbled over his words? In the cafeteria, the usual noise drowned out his worries. He spotted Ryan and Anna at a table, animatedly discussing plants they might bring for the garden. Ethan approached them, his heart thumping in his chest. "Hey, you guys," he said, forcing enthusiasm into his tone. "Are you ready for today?" "Absolutely." Ryan grinned, his eyes sparkling with anticipation. "I found some old gardening tools in my garage. We could use them." "That's awesome," Ethan replied, relaxing a bit as his friend's excitement was infectious. They began brainstorming ideas together, building a foundation of shared dreams. After lunch, as the bell rang, students filtered into the auditorium for the meeting. Ethan's hands were clammy, and he fidgeted with the hem of his shirt as he took a seat at the front. His heart raced, his thoughts tumbling in chaos. Mr. Thompson stepped onto the stage, his voice calm and steady. Thank you all for coming. Today, we are here to make a plan for Harmony Park. Ethan listened eagerly, feeling a wave of determination wash over him. One by one, fellow students stood up and shared their ideas. Some wanted to plan a cleanup day, others suggested creating community art projects. Each idea sparked a little fire inside him, urging him to stand and speak. Stepping to the microphone, Ethan took a deep breath. Hi everyone. I just want to say how amazing it is to see all of us come together. It hasn't been easy for our park, or our town, but if we work together, we can make this place beautiful again. I mean, we all grew up here. He paused, scanning the faces of familiar friends and faces of newcomers. Let us make it a place of joy again. As he spoke, he noticed smiles blossoming as if they were the flowers he hoped to plant. When he finished, an overwhelming wave of applause surged through the room, warming his chest. After the meeting, students broke into smaller groups, discussing projects. Ethan mingled with Anna and Ryan, finding himself caught in a whirlpool of enthusiasm. They formed a plan that felt tangible now. They would create a list of supplies needed, gather community support, and even draft a letter to the town council. Yet, as the day wore on, a nagging doubt crept back into his mind. What if they faced resistance? What if people didn't care? He struggled with the swirling thoughts until they turned into a vortex of anxiety. Doubt gnawed at him, threatening to extinguish the light of hope he had kindled. That night, he sat on his bed, staring at the wall, wrestling with his concerns. But then he caught a glimpse of his reflection in the window, the sunlight framing him in a soft glow. It reminded him of the crowd's applause, of the way Mrs. Garcia had believed in him. For every bit of fear he felt, he also sensed a stronger current of courage pushing him forward. Ethan closed his eyes, envisioning the park filled with laughter, the sound of swing chains rattling and children chasing each other. And deep down inside, he knew he had to fight for that dream. What if hope was waiting on the other side of fear? Would he dare to step through and challenge what might come? Tomorrow, he decided, he would not just wish but act. With renewed resolve, Ethan lay down, wondering what battles would await him and at what cost. Ethan woke the next day with a vision in his heart. As he rushed through breakfast, his mind replayed the applause from the meeting, each clap igniting a fire beneath his skin. Today was a day of action, a day to transform words into reality. Arriving at school, he felt lighter. He spotted Anna and Ryan at their usual spot and hurried over. Hey, let us meet after school to make that list. Absolutely, Anna said, her energy bubbling over. I can't wait to get started. I've already talked to my mom about bringing some plants from our backyard. Amazing. Ethan's smile widened. They began to exchange ideas on what they could secure from local businesses and parents. It felt like a storm of creativity that swept away his lingering doubts. As the day progressed, the initial excitement began to settle into tangible plans. They posted notes around the school, gathering names of volunteers eager to join their cleanup day. Ethan's heart raced at how quickly everything was taking shape. But with every high came a match of worry. What if the town council rejected their proposal? What if the community didn't care? Lunchtime found Ethan back in the cafeteria. He sat with his friends, but his focus was on a poster they created, listing their ideas in big, bold letters. He glanced up, catching the attention of a few nearby students. They watched intrigued. I can't believe you guys are really going for it, said Maya, one of the seniors. I used to play there all the time. It'd be so cool to see it restored. Ethan felt a spark of optimism. Maybe they didn't have to do this alone. Maybe the whole town would rally behind them. You want to help? He asked, his voice trembling with excitement. Maya nodded. Count me in. I'll bring some friends, and we can spread the word around the senior class. As plans cascaded through the lunch period, Ethan felt uplifted. Suddenly, there was chatter around the cafeteria drawing his attention. A group of older students had gathered, their voices dripping with skepticism. "Can you believe these kids?" one of them said mockingly. "They think they can just fix everything with a few plants and a cleanup. It's just a park." The laughter that followed struck Ethan like a fist to the gut. His heart sank. Could they really make a difference? Were they setting themselves up for failure? He looked to Anna and Ryan, who seemed equally deflated. "Hey," Anna said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "Don't let them get to you. Remember why we started this." It was true. They had a vision, a dream, even if it felt fragile in the face of doubt. Ethan closed his eyes briefly, willing himself to embrace that initial spark again. "You're right," he said, drawing strength from her words. "We keep going." After school, they gathered in the library with their notes and plans spread out before them. Ideas tumbled out like colorful beads from a necklace. With every suggestion, Ethan felt the weight of uncertainty lift just a little. Hope flickered back to life. Fueled by the camaraderie of his friends. As they finalized their list, a message dinged on Ethan's phone. It was from his mom. "Have you told Mrs. Garcia about the project? She'd want to help too." Ethan's heart surged. Mrs. Garcia had always believed in him. Why hadn't he thought of asking her sooner? She could bring the council on board, or at least provide support in ways he didn't yet imagine. "I'm going to call her now," Ethan said, barely able to contain his excitement. As he made the call, he felt a wave of determination swell within him. What if inviting Mrs. Garcia into their plans was the key to unlocking something far bigger than just restoring a park? He wondered. His voice trembled slightly when she answered, but this time he spoke from a place of clarity. "Could we count on you to help us?" Silence hung heavy on the line. Then, with an unmistakable warmth, came her response. "Well, Ethan, I'd say you're braver than most. Count on me." In that moment, everything seemed possible again. But just as hope washed over him, doubts began to swirl once more. Would the community really embrace their ideas? Would they face challenges beyond what they expected? As Ethan ended the call, reality loomed again, relentless. Tomorrow was crucial. Would he have the courage to confront the naysayers, to face the next hurdles with strength? Or would fear suffocate their dreams before they had a chance to bloom? Ethan lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling as the shadows danced above him. Thoughts swirled in his mind like leaves caught in a windstorm. Tomorrow was the day. The community center meeting was finally here. He imagined himself standing in front of a crowd, speaking about his vision. Would they listen? Would they believe in him? He tossed and turned, until finally sleep overtook him. He dreamed of the park, vibrant and alive, children laughing, families picnicking, and the old trees restored to their former glory. But when he reached out to touch the vibrant flowers, the scene blurred and turned gray, fading into the doubt that haunted him. Morning broke with golden sunlight streaming into his room, a soft reminder that today held potential. He got up, washed up, and put on his favorite shirt, one that felt comforting, like a hug from a friend. With determination settling in his stomach, he grabbed his backpack and set off for school. As he approached the community center after class, the familiar nerves crept back in. The building looked imposing, its brick facade hard and cold. Ethan paused, taking a deep breath to quell the anxious fluttering in his chest. Inside, the air buzzed with conversations. He spotted Anna and Ryan, who waved him over. Their faces were flushed with excitement, a clear contrast to the anxiety bubbling within him. "Ready?" Anna asked, her eyes sparkling with hope. Ethan nodded, but his voice wavered. "I guess. Just what if they hate our idea?" Ryan placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. We've worked too hard to back down now. Remember what Mrs. Garcia said? We're brave for even trying. As the meeting began, Ethan sat in the back, watching as the council members gathered around the table. Each face held a different expression, some curious, others skeptical. His heart pounded as they called for new proposals. Ethan leaned forward, a surge of bravery rushing through him. I have something to share, he said, his voice stronger than he felt. He stood up, gripping the edges of the table as eyes turned to him. My friends, and I want to revitalize the old park. It's more than just a cleanup. We believe it can become a safe place for everyone. He felt the warmth of support from Anna and Ryan behind him, spurring him on. He spoke passionately, recalling the memories he had of laughter and joy in that park. With each word, his courage grew, and the laughter from the cafeteria faded into a distant memory. But midway through, his voice faltered as a council member interrupted. You're just students. How do you plan on funding this? What makes you think you can do this alone? Ethan felt the familiar cold grip of self-doubt wrapping around him again, threatening to drown out the flickering flame of hope inside. But Anna stepped in, confidently addressing the council. We've got a whole plan. Local businesses are willing to help us. We bring the community together, and it can make a difference. Ethan watched as Anna's words hung in the air, and to his surprise, a few faces softened. Maybe, just maybe, they were starting to see what he saw. Their passion seemed to reverberate through the room. Others began to speak up, sharing stories of their own experiences at the park. Enthusiasm replaced skepticism, and Ethan's heart raced as they rallied together, feeling the swell of support. But just when it seemed the tide was turning, another voice piped up, older and louder. This is all nice, but how will you really make it happen? A hush fell over the room as everyone turned to Ethan. The question loomed larger than life, and he felt the weight of the moment. Did they have what it would take to see this through? The thoughts of fear and self-doubt threatened to overwhelm him once more. But he realized that this wasn't just about him. It was about the community, and all the hopes resting on this endeavor. He took a deep breath, ready to respond, and then, just as the moment hung heavy in the air, he suddenly felt something shift within him, clarity. Because, he started, voice steady and full of newfound determination, if we don't try, we'll never know. Together, we can do this. The council stared back, and he could see it in their eyes. Questions, uncertainties, slowly giving way to possibility. But what would they decide? Would Ethan's hope ignite the spark of change, or would this moment flicker out before they even truly began? Ethan's heart raced as he waited for the council's reaction, time stretching into an eternity. The room was silent, each member deep in thought. He could feel Anna's eyes on him, her unwavering belief fueling his own. He glanced back at Ryan, whose nervousness had transformed into a fierce look of determination. Finally, a murmur broke the quiet. One of the council members leaned toward the table and smiled slightly. It's refreshing to see young people so passionate about their community. But passion alone won't get this done. Ethan felt a wave of anxiety crash over him again. Discussions of passion always felt so abstract. What were they actually risking? Would the community really trust them? We know it won't be easy, Anna interjected, her voice steady. But we've done our homework. We have a budget outline, a timeline, and even support from local businesses willing to contribute. All we need is a chance. Ethan took a breath. She was right. They did have a plan. He reached into his backpack and pulled out the printed documents, the meticulously thought-out notes and sketches showcasing their vision. This was his moment. I know we might seem like just kids, he began, his voice softer now, but we've seen what happens when people come together. Our town deserves more than a neglected park. It deserves a place where families can gather, where memories are made. He glanced around the table and saw nodding heads, the tide slowly turning. What you are suggesting takes more than just enthusiasm, the council member who had questioned him replied, crossing his arms. It takes commitment from you and your friends. Commitment to actually deliver. And we are committed, Ethan said, feeling the spark of hope ignite in his chest. We're willing to fundraise, apply for grants, organize events, whatever it takes. We want to work with you. We know we can't do this alone, but with your guidance, we can start something beautiful. Again, silence hung in the air, and an older woman on the council spoke up. It's important for youths like you to connect with your community. But have you considered the challenges? What about maintenance after the renovation? This isn't just a one-off project. Ryan, usually more reserved, leaned forward. We thought about that, and we want to start an after-school program to involve kids in caring for the park, teaching them responsibility and teamwork. We want this park to grow with us. Excited whispers ignited in the crowd as people exchanged glances, the council members visibly intrigued. An idea that was once just a plan was slowly morphing into a collective vision shared by all present. But tension still lingered as one more voice broke through the buzz. You understand this isn't just a lofty ideal. You're asking for funding that will come under scrutiny. Show us that your commitment lasts beyond this meeting. Ethan felt himself clutching the papers tightly, his mind racing. How could he prove that? What if they turned him down? What if they never gave him the chance he desperately wanted? Give us a month, he found himself saying. Let us demonstrate our commitment. Allow us to host a community event in the park, to show you what we can accomplish. If you don't think we can do it, then we'll accept whatever decision you make. There was a pause, a shift among the council members. Faces that were once filled with doubt now held intrigue. Ethan's heart surged as small smiles spread around the room. Okay, one of the council members said slowly, you have a month. Show us what you can do. A collective sigh of relief swept over Ethan as applause began to ripple through the audience. The atmosphere transformed, buzzing with excitement and empowerment. As the meeting adjourned, Ethan, Anna, and Ryan exchanged ecstatic smiles, their dreams no longer overshadowed by uncertainty. But as they stepped out into the fading daylight, they were met with the daunting reality of what lay ahead. Could they really pull this off? Ethan's heart thudded in anticipation. They had a chance, but the pressure was on, and doubt still lurked in the corners of his mind. They needed to act fast and expertly. What could they do to rally the community and ensure their vision became a reality? Would the hope of the park bloom under their care, or would it wither away like so many forgotten dreams? The next day, Ethan, Anna, and Ryan gathered in Anna's living room, a small space cluttered with art supplies, books, and remnants of their last school project. The afternoon sun streamed through the window, casting a golden hue across their determined faces. Okay, we need a plan, Anna said, her voice tightened with urgency. We have 1 month to show the council that we mean business. What is our first move? Ryan flipped through a notebook, flipping past scribbles and doodles until he landed on a page filled with ideas. What about organizing a cleanup event? We can invite everyone to help clean the park and have a barbecue afterward. It'll be like a community day. Ethan's heart raced at the thought. That's great. It gets people involved and shows them we care. But we should come up with a catchy name. Something that really pulls at the heartstrings. Let us make it personal, Anna chimed in, tapping her fingers against her chin. How about Revive Our Park Day? It sounds hopeful and inspiring. Ryan nodded enthusiastically, his earlier apprehension replaced by excitement. Yeah. We can promote it through social media and local flyers. If we get enough people, it'll really show the council how much support we can generate. Ethan felt a wave of resolve wash over him. Then let us target the local businesses for donations. We can ask them for food and supplies for the barbecue. If they see that we're dedicated, they might support us in the future. The trio spent hours drafting flyers and designing posts to share online. Ethan felt a mix of nerves and exhilaration as they shared their plans with friends and family, the response overwhelmingly positive. But with every cheer, a knot of worry twisted in his stomach. Would it be enough? As the days turned into weeks, they worked tirelessly. They spent evenings tying balloons, painting banners, and reaching out to local businesses. Each small victory filled Ethan with determination, yet the weight of doubt still lingered. What if no one showed up? When the day of the event finally arrived, Ethan stood at the entrance of the park, nervously adjusting his shirt. The anticipation crackled in the air as he saw the first few families arriving, hesitant but hopeful. It felt like a scene from a movie, everyone gathering around for a collective mission. Anna and Ryan were already busy, roping people into activities and sharing snacks. Ethan's heart fluttered as the crowd grew, children laughing and adults sharing stories, an optimistic buzz enveloping the park. Could this really be the spark they needed? As the sun climbed higher, Ethan glanced around, daunted by the sheer volume of work ahead. 100 small hands wielding brooms and bags eagerly set to work, inflating the hope that had taken root in Ethan's chest. But then, just as laughter filled the afternoon, a shadow moved on the outskirts of the park. Ethan squinted and spotted a group of teenagers he recognized from school, their arms crossed, skepticism etched on their faces. His stomach sank. Would they mock their efforts? Just as doubt was creeping back in, he felt Anna touch his arm gently. Don't worry. Just keep being passionate. With the final touches in place, Ethan took a deep breath, forcing a smile. It was time for their first community gathering. Hey, everyone! He called, his voice surprisingly steady. Thank you for being here. Let us show our town that we care about revitalizing this park. The crowd erupted in applause, and the unscripted joy ignited the spark he had desperately needed. But amidst the cheering, Ethan's eyes remained fixed on the teenagers at the side, their expressions unreadable. What kind of impact would this day have on them? Would they join in or simply continue to resist? As they dove into the day's fun, Ethan realized that the moment of truth was just beginning. Behind the smiles, doubt still hovered, mingling with the hope they all carried. Would they be able to sustain this energy moving forward, or were they in for an unexpected challenge? Ethan took a step back, letting the warmth of the day wash over him. The laughter of children rang like music in his ears, but the sight of the teenagers lingered in his mind. He glanced over at Anna and Ryan, who were busy rallying a group to start picking up litter. He wished he could shake off his insecurities and focus entirely on the joy unfolding around him. Hey! Come help! Anna called, waving excitedly at him. A part of him wanted to run to join her, to embrace the communal spirit that felt so electric. But the shadowed group remained fixed in his thoughts. He approached the edge of the park cautiously, his palms sweaty. Maybe, just maybe, they could be convinced to join in? He took a deep breath, the air filled with the scent of fresh grass mixed with barbecued hot dogs. Hey! Ethan shouted, trying to project confidence he didn't fully feel. Are you guys interested in helping us out today? The teens turned their heads, their eyes narrowing in suspicion. Why would we? One of them shot back, a smirk playing on his lips. This is lame. Ethan felt a sharp tug in his chest. He had expected some resistance, but the bite of their words stung more than he anticipated. Just as he was about to retreat, Anna and Ryan appeared behind him, their faces flushed with energy. Come on! It'll be fun, Anna exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. We're making a difference. Look how many people are here. Ethan couldn't tell if they were swayed by her charisma or still held onto their skepticism as they exchanged glances. Fun? Yeah, right, muttered one. What is in it for us? Ethan stepped forward, a flicker of desperation igniting. What is in it for you? You get to be part of something meaningful. This is about our community, our future. And we're throwing a barbecue. Free food? Their eyes flickered towards the smell wafting from the grills. It was the glimmer of hope he needed. A few exchanged skeptical smiles, but at that moment, it felt like a small win. Okay, but we're not doing it for you. One of the teens finally relented, uncrossing his arms. We just want the food. Deal? Ryan chimed in, clapping a hand on the boy's shoulder. As the group tentatively inched closer, a wave of relief flowed through Ethan. He turned back towards the main crowd, where laughter and occasional shouts of joy erupted. It was happening. They had reached someone who was seen far away just moments ago. Just then, a loud pop surged through the air. Startled, everyone turned to see one of the balloons they had tied to a tree burst. It sent a few children into a fit of giggles. And in that instant, the tension scattered like the remnants of the balloon, replaced by shared laughter. Ethan joined in, feeling his heart lift. This gathering was doing more than just cleaning the park. It was creating connections and bonds that lingered beyond the day. He glanced at Anna, her face radiant even in the warm sun. As the afternoon stretched on, the teenagers finally began mingling with the rest of the crowd. It was a small shift, but Ethan felt as if they were building a bridge within their community. Yet, the council's decision still loomed over him like a dark cloud. What if this wasn't enough? What would happen when they presented their efforts? With these new doubts gnawing at him, Ethan glanced towards the horizon. His heart thudded with uncertainty. Would their hard work pay off, or was this just a temporary band-aid for a far bigger problem? As he watched the sunset paint the sky, he knew one thing: this journey was just beginning. The real challenge lay ahead. What awaited them after the barbecue was what truly mattered. Would they be able to face the council united, or would the tides of indifference wash it all away? As dawn broke, the sun illuminated Harmony Park, the laughter of children echoing through the trees like joyful music. Ethan stood at the entrance, his heart race matching the flutter of excitement surrounding him. Today was the day. They had labored for weeks preparing for this moment, a community event to showcase their hard work and hope. He glanced over at the makeshift stage they'd set up, where their heartfelt plans would unfold in front of the town council. Would they see the passion? Would they believe in this dream as he did? Ethan felt nerves twist in his stomach, but he pushed them aside. Today was about uniting the community. It was about inspiring hope. By noon, the park was alive with families. Kids raced each other through the newly cleared grass, laughter spilling out like sunshine. Tables filled with colorful banners stood proudly displaying the rejuvenated spirit of the park. Ethan felt buoyed by the numbers gathering, but anxiety still gnawed at the edges of his joy. Here they come, Anna said, squinting toward the park entrance. Ethan followed her gaze as he spotted the council members walking through the gates, their expressions a mix of curiosity and skepticism. Ethan swallowed hard. It was time. We're ready? He asked, glancing at Anna and Ryan, who nodded back encouragingly, determination lighting up their faces. Let us show them what we can do, Ryan exclaimed. Ethan grasped the microphone, the cool metal grounding him. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming today. We are here to celebrate Harmony Park and show you what we can achieve together. The crowd cheered, a wave of warmth washing over him. As he shared stories of the park's past, of laughter and joy that once filled every corner, he caught the council's eye. Their smiles began to soften, just a bit. He painted a vivid picture of what they envisioned, how they intended to make the park a vibrant gathering place again. In every word, he poured his dreams, fueled by the unity blossoming around him. And today, more than anything, we want to invite all of you to join us in making this a reality," he concluded, stepping back to let Anna and Ryan take center stage. Anna, energized, took over and spoke about their plans for future events, the garden they would nurture, and how this wasn't just about cleaning a park but bringing the community together. People listened, nodding, excitement bubbling up like a newly opened soda. Then Ryan jumped in, detailing their fundraising ideas, how local businesses supported them willingly, and how they intended to ensure that the park would last for generations. The enthusiasm in the crowd surged, and Ethan's heart swelled. As the speeches concluded, the crowd erupted into applause, warmth licking at Ethan's cheeks. But the most nerve-wracking moment of the day was yet to come. Would the council allow them to move forward? Would they trust the kids' passion? Taking a deep breath, the head of the council stepped to the front. The room felt tense, anticipation hanging like a weight. "I have seen the excitement this community brings," she started, surveying the park, where laughter and hard work intertwined. "You've shown us that you care deeply about this space. And if you are willing to show that same level of commitment going forward, I believe we can grant you the opportunity to revitalize Harmony Park." Cheers erupted around him, and Ethan could hardly contain his joy. This was their moment. Yet, there was still a challenge ahead. The council member continued, "However, we will hold you accountable. The support mustn't end here. Are you ready to commit?" "Yes!" they shouted collectively, voices blending into a unified sound. And just like that, Ethan felt a shift in the air and understanding that all the hard work had sparked the spirit of the community. Their laughter, their dreams, their efforts folded into that one undeniable truth. They were more than just a group of kids. They were part of something bigger. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the park in warm hues of gold and crimson, hope blossomed in Ethan's heart. They had gained a chance, and with that, they'd show the world what was possible when they came together as one community, one family. A real park was being born again, but more importantly, a community was healing. And in that moment, standing amidst joy, laughter, and radiance, Ethan knew this was just the beginning. The weight of doubt had lifted, hope had taken its place. As he looked around, he saw not just a park, but a promise to lift each other, to stand together through anything. Each smile, each cheer, echoed the spirit within him. Change is possible. As the day closed, he felt something pull at him, the realization that it wasn't just about Harmony Park anymore. It was about believing in each other, in the power of unity, and how no dream was too big when hearts joined together. Ethan smiled, tears of joy welling in his eyes. Who knew a boy with empty pockets could help build something so rich? Now, this is where you come in. You need to subscribe now, so you don't miss out on the next exclusive stories that inspire hope and transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment your reactions and feelings about this heartwarming conclusion. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation for a community. Only true fans understand the strength of sharing these journeys.